Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach, and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%. I swear we didn't script that.
All I could think of was Dame.
6-0. There could not be a better name.
Speaking of young guys, how about the goalie, Ottinger?
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening because this is why you shouldn't have given Zeke this contract. Just thought I'd point that out.
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a 3 ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
While with the Padres and Marlins, I think it's coming in the near future.
They're my pick to win the most rings in the 2020s.
I was shocked by Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Montreal has one of the best goalies in the league with Carey Price.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our 39th episode. Make sure to check out our last episode where we did our second World Series or bust in our YouTube history or podcast history, however you like to call it. Now, today we will be reviewing the All-Star game, and it wasn't our best predicting, but I think it would be one of our worst. I don't know how you feel about that, Austin, who came pretty close in the 3-point contest, and we'll get to that later. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, I thought I was pretty sure we were going to get more than just the right team. We weren't even close on the score, but that's because I didn't know about I forgot that they were doing the Kobe rules, and then it was a bad day to predict. And the thing is, the crazy part is the dunk competition, which we'll get to earlier. There were 3 people, and we both picked different ones, and we both got it wrong. So, I mean, that's about the worst that we could possibly do. At least we got the Team LeBron would win. At least we got something. We weren't reverse undefeated, which would be terrible. So, do you want to talk about the skills competition to start?
Yeah, we both had Luka, and I was a little bit biased, but I really thought Luka would do better, and so did his teammate Jalen Brunson. Gave him a lot of grief, but the final turned out to be Domantas Sabonis, who ended up winning it, versus Nikola Vucevic, and the big man dominated. What were your thoughts about this?
Yeah, it was really impressive. I expected Chris Paul and Luka to do well, but no, they really struggled against Nikola and Domantas. I mean, I thought it was interesting that they put the 2 groups of big men, so there's 4 forwards or centers that went out first. And then the winner of those first 2 rounds would play against Luka, and then the other one would play against Chris Paul. And I think that little bit of rest did not help Luka and did not help Chris Paul because Nikola and Domantas were coming to play. And it didn't matter that they were slower overall. They just hit their threes before Chris Paul or Luka could. I mean, Luka went as slow as possible in his round, and he was struggling. It was tough. But Domantas Sabonis, I'm happy for him. He played amazing in the skills competition, and I'm not really surprised that he won the skills challenge after looking back and seeing how hard he tried compared to like Luka, who didn't really put as much effort in. So I feel like the big men wanted something to like prove. They were trying to prove that they are like guards and can shoot. So I think we can move on to the 3-point contest. How do you think about that?
Yeah, we did talk about us both not choosing Steph Curry, and we're like, we don't think he'll put his all into it. And as soon as I saw him complete the first round, I don't know how many he missed. He didn't miss like maybe 4 or 5 shots in total, and that really surprised me. Or I wasn't surprised that he could do it, but I was like, oh, he is trying his all. And then it came down to the last shot against Mike Conley in the second round, and Steph Curry is just amazing at shooting those 3-pointers, and he really was the guy that changed how the NBA thought of 3-pointers. I think you can also include Klay Thompson in that when the Warriors first made their run without KD. What did you think? I know you were
Yeah,
pretty heartbroken.
yeah, because I was like, I was sitting on the edge of my seat. I was up and ready to cheer because I was right about Mike Conley, and then Curry makes the last shot, and I'm like, oh man, that's tough because I really wanted Mike Conley to win it because not only because I picked him, but I'm also a big fan. He finally got to the All Star game, which he deserved during his career to make it at least once. Um, it was a great 3-point competition. I'm surprised how well Jason Tatum played, even though he only had 17 or 18 in the last round. It wasn't real. It was a 2-man game in the second round between Conley and Curry, and they had some conversations in there about like Curry's the best clutch shot shooter. If you want one shot at the end of the game, you take Curry, and I'm not too certain about that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think Curry has shown that level of clutchness in his shots, but when he is on shooting threes, he's incredible. And I wonder if that's something we're going to see more in this season because he doesn't have his partner Clay. He only it's a bunch of new guys. He only has Draymond. And so I think maybe in maybe not in the finals, in the playoffs, we see him make a clutch shot, but he definitely wouldn't be my choice. I'd probably pick with MJ. And then if I had to do a 3-pointer, I'd probably pick Ray Allen. What about you?
Yeah, Ray would have to be my choice for a three. If it's any shot, Jordan's a great bet. LeBron's a great bet. Kobe's a great bet. Um, if you're going big man, I would take Kareem. He made the final two free throws against the Pistons to win Game 7 of the finals. No, he that was Game 6, and they win Game 7. One of those two. He made clutch shots in the finals that won in the series, basically. And I mean, those players have all done it. They've all made either free throws or shots to win games, win finals, win playoff games. And Curry's never done that. He's made clutch shots against the Pelicans that sent it to overtime, but he's never made. And that was the series that were up 2-0 and against a 1 versus an 8 seed. We haven't really seen him show his abilities to the best of his talents whenever it matters the most. And I feel like that's really where you go to during clutch shots. You want a player like Damian Lillard's up there. I would have Dame before I had Curry. There are certain people that I just feel like have proven it in the playoffs more than others. And while Dame's never done it in like a second round or a Western Conference Finals with like a game winner or something, at least he's done it before. And he's done it multiple times against the Rockets in 2014, against OKC in 2018, and he's had those times before where he just proven himself to be a much better player when it matters the most.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'd probably have Dame like final shot, Dame over Curry, and it's just Curry is the king of shooting threes, but not yet on the clutch shots. No matter like if it's a 3 or a 2. But I think we can move on to the dunk contest, and I just would like to thank Dwayne Wade for ruining my chances of getting Obi, because I feel if it was the original standard, Obi would have won. But Anthony Simons did have a great dunk, and I just was really hoping for Obi to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the dunk competition wasn't all that interesting. I felt like it was even less interesting than the skills competition. The dunk by Anthony Simons to win was a good dunk, but he didn't actually kiss the rim. He just like motioned like he kissed. Um, Obi's dunk I thought was better than Anthony's dunk. I thought Cassius Stanley got uh, was not treated equally in that first round. I thought he had the best first round dunk, but I mean, it's fallen off, and now the new rules where you just vote which one's better at the end. I disagree. I feel like it should go back to the way it was before. And even if there's going to be wrong selections, and even though I thought Derrick Jones Jr. should win, the mass of people did not. Everybody thought Aaron Gordon should win, and I'm fine with that. We're going to have disagreements, but that doesn't mean to change the whole philosophy behind uh, the competition and really make it where it's not as interesting. I I found myself wanting to look at other things while the dunk competition was going on, even though it was in the middle of the All Star game.
Yeah, and I think um, why Cassius Stanley, he was the one where it was his first dunk and they didn't give him a 10, right?
Yeah, they
Or am
gave
I
him they gave him the worst score out of all of them, and that really set him up for failure at the end because he tried a really hard dunk and then eventually basically said, "Well, I missed it the first two times, so now I'm gonna do an easy dunk." And then he got like a 37 or something like that, and it's tough. I mean, it's going to. I hope we get some more, not necessarily star players, but star dunkers. When I think of guys that jump, I think Cassius Stanley's up there. But Obi Toppin, he plays well this season. He's a great dunker, but I don't feel like he is a premier dunker in this league. When I think of dunker, I think of Zach LaVine. I think of Derrick Jones Jr. I think of Aaron Gordon. I think of Gerald Green. I don't know technically if he's in the league right now or not, but he's won multiple dunk competitions. He has hops, but he also it's not just hops. Obi Toppin, in my opinion, just has hops. The same thing with Anthony Simons. They're great at jumping, but I don't know if they're great at dunking. They can dunk, but which one of these dunks, Kevin, were outstanding to the point where you've like never seen it done before, or something that you were just surprised that it could be done?
I think maybe the only one was Simons when like he put the thing on the board and then he jumped up. That was one I'd never seen before, but the other ones I'm like I can see someone else doing it. And I think Obi did one. The announcers were talking about how Zach LaVine had done it the week earlier, if I am
Yeah,
correct.
the one dunk that Cassius Stanley did, which is really impressive, is a dunk Zach LaVine did in before a game. That's my point. Like I feel like the league has to put more incentive to doing it, monetarily speaking, or in other form of fashion. Maybe win a car, maybe something goes to charity, something like that, to get these players to go. Because the league would have so many more viewers during the dunk competition if they would just allow players like this to get their incentives for going. Zach LaVine is, I think, the best dunker in the league right now, but he's not in the dunk competition. Aaron Gordon's up there too, not in the dunk competition. Derrick Jones Jr., not in the dunk competition. Anthony Simon's not even the best dunker on his team. Derrick Jones Jr. is on the team with him. I would take Derrick Jones Jr. over Anthony Simons any day of the week.
Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna find a way to sneak Zion in there. Like he may not, he's just a big dude, but I think just his presence would really lift that up. And I definitely think the NBA is the most forward thinking of all the leagues. So I definitely think they're gonna find a way to make it better. And maybe they'll take some things like you said. But I think we can move to the All Star game, and it it was just players having fun. Luca didn't really put anything into it. Neither did LeBron. But we did see Steph just hitting some big threes, and we saw Giannis hit a step back 3-pointer, which was just made me jump out of my chair. What do you think of the whole thing?
Yeah, it was a great showing of basketball when you're not trying. I mean, it's just they're great at basketball, but that wasn't a great basketball game. Just because you have all these star players playing when they play for nothing, I mean, you can see that they really don't care. I mean, the game was decided 170 to 150. It wasn't close. I was not even interested in the game once the fourth quarter started. I knew the game was over. I turned the channel. I don't know what happened in the fourth quarter. I mean, it sounds interesting now. They have the Kobe rules now, which I think make it a little bit more interesting if the game's close because you know the score you have to get to. But when the game is that far apart and the winning team has to get to 24, which means that the losing team has to get like 44 points, it's just like I said, not as interesting. This All Star game, I feel like the peak was the 3 point contest. 3 point contest was really good in my opinion. I was impressed by how certain players shot. I thought that Jason Tatum would perform worse than he did not, especially in the first round. But every other competition, I think the skills competition was the second best event during the night, only behind the 3 point contest. But the league, I think, misses the Rising Stars game, misses the celebrity game. And while I don't normally watch those, I feel like there's a lot of people who are interested to see either the young players or some celebrity players like Quavo go play basketball. And I know they had something like that. They had some competition like that. I don't know where it was on. I've seen highlights of it, but where like Quavo and Lil Baby are playing basketball, and it's on some sort of event and there's announcers and everything, but I don't know where that was. And I feel like the NBA, like you said, is a very forward thinking, and they're going to realize like this did not get as grave. Get as good reviews as it has in past years. And part of that I think is because of there's no fans. I feel like the dunk competition is a lot more fun when the fans can get into it. Tim in the 3 point contest, they're cheering it on, and then the hypeness between the last second shot that would have been insane if that happened between fans and Curry hit that last second shot. It would have been pandemonium. But now that we didn't have fans and the dunk competition wasn't as great, and same thing with the All Star game, it just made it less interesting overall. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. And another thing that just makes it wasn't a really good thing was that LeBron is just a great GM. Maybe he's becomes the owner and the GM because he's undefeated right now, and he really picks his players well, and it's really fun. But I definitely agree there might be some changes, and I definitely do think fans more played not being there played a part of it, and I also think COVID in general, like COVID has really kind of hampered the energy in the NBA because like you have to get tested every single morning. Um, Embiid and players like LeBron were worried about a big COVID thing, and they did get a COVID scare with Embiid and Ben Simmons. So I think that goes to your point, and I'm definitely thinking we'll get some better things. And I definitely agree about the 3 point contest. That was like the best event by far. It was just so fun with the duel between Curry and Conley.
Yeah, the only thing that I there were some good highlights. The Dame shot to end the game. That was a 40-footer. Curry shots. Giannis stepped back, which helped him win an MVP. So it was a okay game. It wasn't like great though. It's just I expect more out of these great players. They need to put incentives behind it so it's actually interesting. I've never really watched the All Star game as much as I did. I knew I was going to do this video, so I wanted to watch a good bit of it, so I had some sense of what was happening. But I wasn't really impressed, and that's normally what I would expect at an All Star game. When I watch those old '07 NBA All Star highlights where Iverson and Kobe are going 1-on-1, and then McGrady makes a great three, and then Dirk makes a great three, and then it's just back and forth and back and forth, and they're actually trying. And I don't know if that's just the era because of their competitiveness that they were like, we really got to step this up. We want to win. We want bragging rights. But I feel like they should probably do something where the whoever is the captain gets to pick a charity, and then the winner of that gets money towards a charity. I don't know if that'll get enough out of the players to work. I don't know if they're going to need monetary incentives, but I feel like that'd be kind of greedy on their part. I don't really know. Maybe it goes to a foundation that Kobe founded because now we're doing Kobe everything for the All Star game. Maybe it goes to his basketball club. I don't really know. I just there has to be something to get these players to start working, not 100%, but at least like 90. But they weren't even at 50% in my opinion during the game. They were just playing pickup basketball and not trying. When I play pickup basketball, it's only more intense than that was. And I'm not saying we're even close to their skill level, but it's just a lot more hard work is going into it. And that's really a testament to how good these players are. They can put up 170 and 150 points and they're not even trying. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. Definitely reminded me of us playing pickup basketball, where one person would just shoot threes, even though he could definitely body the entire everyone else that was playing, and then he ended up winning that game. But I also think for the incentives part, I think they did do whoever won the quarter, like I believe Team Durant went. I completely apologize for this. It went to a HBCU college of their choice. So I don't. That may be that I guess they tried that and it may not have worked.
Yeah,
I
I
think
just don't see that being as effective as going to like a hospital like St. Jude's or to people with pancreatic cancer or breast cancer. I feel like that's a more involved situation than just an HBCU. And while we do need to fund those schools and they're definitely important in our society, I feel like it's more important to help those who are lesser than us, like health wise. I feel like we're in a pandemic now, and that I think health has really shown to be very important, and I feel like he can motivate people to do great things. We saw Duvernay Tardif, the right guard for the Chiefs, decide to step away from his sport for a season to go help people with COVID. Um, and it's essential that I feel like that's a motivational factor. We want to help our fellow human, and I don't know if I would say that the donations, if that was the case, I wasn't really paying attention between the breaks, and if they did say that, I don't know if I don't think it motivated the players enough, and I feel like if it would go to liver cancer or any other hospital, or for people that are poor and need money, homeless people, something that would I feel like help the help everybody. I feel like would be a much more effective use of the money that they gain from the game.
Yeah, so I believe I found it. And I also think maybe like what you're saying, you have like multiple charities and then maybe a big car at the end for the MVP, or he can choose to give it to someone else. Maybe do a big raffle on like who's the MVP. So someone picked Giannis.
Yeah, and you'd have to pay money to like make your pick, and then that money would go to a charity, and that'd be perfect. I mean, a raffle to win the car, but like the NBA pays for the car, but I mean, you get enough people to vote for the MVP, and then that raffle would go to a charity. I just feel like paying it to a certain university isn't as useful of money as it would be to go to uh, homeless people or something of that nature. And I feel like, uh, especially how our society is now, it's more important to help those people who have less than us, especially because they're getting more they're getting closer to COVID. They don't necessarily afford to miss work because I can stay home from work. They can't really afford to do that. So it's a tough situation.
Yeah, to give you the amount of money that was spent, the team's captained by LeBron and Kevin Durant. The winning team in each of the first, second, and third quarter collected 150,000 for their respective organization, and the first team to hit the target score, which I guess was 170. Now that we know, will get the final 300,000, and in total, final 300,000 towards that organization that the team was sponsoring. And then in total, from the website I'm looking at, is that over like $3 million in charitable organizations.
Do you know where that money went? Or
So one is supporting, so those two organizations that support historically Black colleges and universities. It was the Thurgood Marshall College Fund or United Negro College Fund. I also think they did scholarships because they mentioned that in the ads. I think that was like the first. And then Black institutions will see at least another 1.25 million guaranteed from the skills competition and all-star game. Each assist in the game will generate $1,900 in scholarship funds. Last year's game had 77 assists, which matched this year. So I guess it's a thing that's been going on for a while. I apologize.
It just goes to HBCUs, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, this year. And it sounds from the article I'm reading that they did this a year before. Wait, did we have one a year before?
We did. That was probably the best All-Star game of recent history. That one was really good. Where Kyle Lowry took that charge in the fourth quarter. That was a pretty good game.
Okay. That's my mind's just blanking right now. So I think that concludes it. I think maybe get some more information from the players. Like I wonder what LeBron wasn't a fan of it, and I'm sure if LeBron's not a huge fan of it, the NBA is probably not going to be a huge fan of it just because he's such a vocal leader of the NBA. So I wonder if they go to him and this upcoming season when everything's hopefully better, they get his input and maybe we can see some changes because I don't think they're afraid to change, unlike the NFL.
Yeah. And I feel like you said, LeBron didn't like it, and I'm sure he had some input into what was going on, but I feel like the league, while they should listen to their players, should definitely take some feedback from also like the fans and see what they would like, what charities they would like to donate to, because when and it should be a player-led league. But the fans are the only reason why the players are getting as much money as they get. The fans are the ones inputting, buying jerseys and buying subscriptions to NBA.com and certain things. So I mean, if everybody can get just an input and then take a vote or something, and I guess that's why they do all-star voting the way they do. That's why some certain starters are getting all-star consideration because of how many fans actually like them, which may make it to where the not the best person gets in, but it's still good, especially if they can make it to where it's a charity organization that gets that gets to reap the benefits of a successful All-Star weekend.
Cool. So I believe that concludes our episode. Thank you for joining us. Let us know down in the comments or at our email, outsidersopinions@gmail.com, what you thought. And thank you for listening. And our next episode we'll stay on the NBA and we'll do NBA power rankings, as a lot of things are going on and there are some seismic shifts happening right now. Hope you enjoyed this Selection Sunday, which is the day we're recording.